Всем привет, с вами Люксорос, и сегодня у нас 1 марта, а это значит, что, во-первых, первый день весны, всех поздравляю с этим, а во-вторых, сегодня стартовал патч 3.5, вместе с которым у нас появились новые квесты, новые задания, и одно из этих заданий является как раз встреча с профессором Фарузан, с прекраснейшим персонажем, которым был недостаточно раскрыт при своем релизе, но, к счастью, встреча компенсировала этот момент, более детально раскрыла. В этом видео я покажу без лишних комментариев и без лишней беготни по открытому миру все 5 концовок вместе с 2 секретными ачивками. Всем приятного просмотра, и мы погнали!
Even though most of the academia's restrictions have significantly relaxed, I'm still a bit worried that I need to stay here to keep an eye on the situation. Kale, can you...
Does it?
I'd only assign a job this important to someone I trust.
Oh no, I'm fine! I've completely recovered.
I know. You'll have a tough time if you...
Oh, hey there!
Ah, it's been a while. What a coincidence. I was just thinking about asking you to accompany Kale to Sumeru City. Sorry, that's not what I meant. It's just that this matter... Also, you happen to know about this situation? There are very few people I can trust to be discreet right now. After giving it much thought, it's complicated, and this isn't the best place to talk about it. You might have heard about her in Sumeru before. Her name is Faruzan, and she's let's just say that a huge part of Ksharowar's mechanical research over the past 100 years, but she vanished for 100 years because of a certain incident. She only returned to the academia after being found in the wilderness a few years ago. Because of that, her current personality can be a bit... strange.
I'm getting a headache,
She doesn't have bad intentions, so you don't have to be scared.
I'll try.
Yes, Ksharawar and Spontamod researchers are often quite prejudiced, so I can't trust them with this matter. However, Faruzan isn't influenced by modern thinking. In our previous correspondence through letters, she indicated that it's already past our arranged meeting time, but she still hasn't shown up. I don't think so. With her personality, it's more likely that she got... Anyway, can you go with Kale to the academia and check on...
Thank goodness.
I'm counting on you too. Kale, don't push yourself too hard. Just go there. Our task is important, but not that urgent. If Faruzan really is in... After all, if she's distracted by other things, it'll affect...
All right. Let's... Sorry, what did you say? Oh, could you repeat?
Farzan, I said that you need to give us an answer.
Yes. And did you forget to add madam when you addressed me earlier?
Your hearing is perfectly fine. Madam Farzan, we don't want to make things difficult for you. Isn't this rather problematic as an advisor? Never mind.
And who, if I may ask, complained? If they have any issue with me, you don't have to tell me anything. I very well know that it's those people from Haravatat. How I wish they'd put their time into doing proper...
But, Madam Farzan, it has been a long while...
Academic contribution cannot simply... In any case, makes no sense to use a metric like this to evaluate a mentor. Which sage set this rule anyway?
Wait! Madam Farzan...
That's her, all right. But the person with her doesn't look like a mantra. Shh! She hates it when people call her young. Her body apparently stopped aging during the year she was gone. So that's why she looks the same.
Anyway, Akara Crafts and the leader of Ksharawar would like to invite you to collaborate on this project. They're wondering if you'd be interested.
Mm-hmm. Ah, Kale! Why are you here at the academia? Are you feeling better now? I'm much better, Madam Farzan. It's all thanks to the trap. Have you been sleeping well? You seem to be developing some eye bags. Is that brat Tainari forcing you to stay up late again? No, it's because I'm a slow learner. It's good to be hardworking, but you need to take care of your health. I'll have to give Tainari a right talking to when I see... there's... Ah, and is the person beside you the legendary traveler? Oh, I've heard much about you before. It is thanks to you, after all, that the academia is finally getting back on its feet. Even colleagues... I'd wager it's those Kasharawar dunderheads finding excuses so that I'd go to their darshan.
If you're this, it might be difficult to teach a course with topics that only fall within Haravatats. You can teach a course or participate in a collaborative project. If you don't do either, it'll be hard for—
Could you not give me a few more days to consider? This matter has been delayed for—
That's precisely the issue. If you don't give an answer to—
What a waste of free time these folks— Now you two are here at Tainari's behest, I take it. Of course. I shall need some time to think as— What now? She seems so busy. Master said there's no rush. But I know that he's been busy working on something at Privetstye, so he hasn't returned. I feel for Madame Faruzan. But if I get her in trouble with the academia, then she will— Yeah, that would be the best for them both. But I'm sure he'll say, the best thing you can do now is study hard. So Huh? Oh yes! This way she can get her— So if I also stay and help— Okay then. Huh. I have to teach students from Haravatat, or owe Kasharawar a favor. We're back, Madame Faruzan. The Traveler said that he can stay and help you. Oh! Why, I couldn't ask for more. In fact, I'm rather curious about the type of person the Traveler— Is that so? Good. Now, should I apply to teach a course with Haravatat, or join the collaborative project that Kasharawar is proposing?
You might have heard of it before. Haravatat is an academic faction that researches languages and runes.
Now, not was. Still am.
Yes, of course. But current Haravatat students can't really...
In summary, I mean to interpret the configurations and solutions of ruin mechanisms via the deciphering of on-site stone carvings and unearthed documents.
The research method is supported by Haravatat, yes, but the content deals heavily with both ruins and mechanisms. Also, there are fewer and fewer unexplored ruins left nowadays, and Kasharawar researchers have been developing their own theories on mechanisms. As such, they don't need to rely on ancient documents.
They're far too complacent. Ancient mechanisms are more dangerous and complex. I'm telling you, things weren't like this 100 years ago. All researchers back then were interested in exploring knowledge from a variety of topics. Nowadays, all people are interested in are mainstream subjects in popular research. Even if they attended my course, the people here think that my research is outdated and unrealistic. So they keep cutting my— Why, I think they could all stand to learn from Kale. She's a hard-working child and— Huh? Why me? If only those who came to my lectures were more like you. Speaking of which, are you feeling better? I just remembered that I have a lot of studying to do. Are you telling me to start a reading course for Kale? Huh?
Wait. Although Tainari has academic dealings with the academia, he isn't considered part of it. This means that Kale isn't
No, he's right. The old academia became consumed by their arrogance precisely— There must surely be many people like Kale and Sumeru who are passionate about learning. The old academia paid no heed to them. But if I start a reading course for Kale as a pilot— Oh, save yourself the extra trouble. I'll come with you. If there's any arguments to be had, we shall sweep Traveler, Kale. Do wait for us a little while outside the— Wait! But I can't believe she rushed right in after we arrived. She's really headstrong. Oh, no, not really. Madame Faruzan is a brilliant scholar. Even Master thinks so. It's just that she can get a bit too passionate sometimes. I don't know how to handle that. Maybe it's because she wants— It's just like that researcher said. The academia has I don't really get it. But it does seem like Haravatat's students aren't up to— Students who are interested in mechanisms and applications of the elements. Madame Faruzan also refuses to accept random students just to make up numbers. But she seems to like my attitude toward learning. It's because I'm a slow learner that I have no choice but to stay up late and study. Whenever she compliments me, it's not that. Madame Faruzan respects my choices. She hasn't been trying to persuade. She sometimes brings food to Gandharvaville for me. And each time she says that Master can't find out. Now that you mention it,
Kale, traveler, thank you for waiting. I argued with the higher-ups and convinced them of the practicality and necessity of educating the general public. If I'm not mistaken, they're the students of my classmates' students. They're a lot less forceful than...
amazing.
It's just that we need to fill in every single page of the application. It's been a century, but let's see now. What do we need to fill in? Course name, learning objectives, teaching methods, course materials. That's a bit too general, I'd say. After all, this class's target as such will need a more specific learning objective.
That's true. If we use children's teaching materials,
And you have your job as a forest ranger, Kale. People who attend this course in the future are also likely to have life commitments. We need more effective teaching methods.
Master always tells me that practice is the best way to learn. That's why
It must have been difficult to get books in Sumeru in recent years. No, expanding literacy is a capital notion. Now that the academia is easing restrictions on the circulation of books, there should be more people who have become interested. So that's next on the list. I fear that I'm at a loss as to which books youngsters like nowadays. Fair. Kale, what?
Me? I've been reading light novels from Inazuma. I heard that ever since we were allowed to sell books in Sumeru...
Light novels? This is my first time hearing about such a thing, but I doubt I will procure suitable teaching materials from...
Wait for us, Madame Faruzan!
What a long and mildly ungrammatical title. And what?
Is this your first time seeing a light novel, ma'am? Oh, they're the most popular.
Fine. One should...
Of course. Why don't you try this one? It's Outlander Brigade.
I heard that this book's author describes...
Now, I've only skimmed through a few pages, but it feels like it's all fight scenes. There are only subjects and predicates, and the syntax is a tad simple.
Subjects?
The protagonist just ends up fighting in every scene with no proper build-up. Will anyone even enjoy a story that's only comprised of fights?
How about... the good thing about being reincarnated...
A reincarnation isekai story? Those are pretty popular right now.
Isekai? What in the world is that? Also tropes? Those fictional rules used to push the plot forward, yes? They're definitely effective in achieving a distancing effect.
Sorry.
However, this book doesn't explain how reincarnation correlates to becoming stronger. Such an illogical rule will affect the coherence of the story. Will readers really accept this?
How about this? I had to fight two...
Oh, that's the latest volume of Oni...
Now that's a rather normal title length. Oh, Kale, do you like this series?
Yes, but I don't like it that much. Madam, are you going to...
Let me see. The dialogue flows quite well, but there are too many phrases here that I don't recognize. Third eye of perception, illusory mirror, and so on. Are these terms that are tied to tropes?
I also thought those names were strange when I was reading them.
It's impossible to derive the meaning of these phrases in isolation. Also, their morphological properties are quite pedestrian, really. Or did the protagonists purposely create these strange names to disorient their foes? So there's no deeper purpose.
You're right. It's such a weird book.
Even the most popular book in Sumeru back then had greater depth than anything written today. Yes, a Bahumano researcher wrote it while researching. The plot had many twists. The world building was fantastic, and even the writing could withstand scrutiny. When it was still even the sages back then all described the story as a timeless classic. The series must have concluded after so many years, right?
Is there a book like that in Sumeru? I've never heard of such a...
It's called Tales of Shariar. Do you sell it here?
Tales of Shariar?
About 100 years ago.
100 years ago? Are you pulling my leg? What sort of book can remain popular for 100 years?
The Legend of Antara is popular to this very day, isn't it? I just heard someone telling it a few If an old story like that is still being shared, then Tales of Shahryar must be—
Even if that is the case,
What? Is that because of the Academia's strict control over books? I can't believe they've allowed the people of Sumeru to become so uncivilized. How can they not know about the Tales of Shahryar?
Tales of Shahryar. Oh, I mean, it is a book from 100 years ago.
Tales of Shahryar is considered an antique now? How could the Academia have let such an— Traveler, Kale, I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
Madam, wait! Oh no, this is bad. You asked me why I'm scared of Madame Farazan, right? It's because I'm afraid of that ancient language she researches, because I can barely understand. Even so, what if researchers from 100 years ago like to use—
Found it! The 5th volume of—
Wow, you
I never thought this book would ever get sold.
All right, that's our teaching material secured. We also now know what to call this course. Analysis.
Can I take a look? Luckily the language being used—
As long as the writing is good, readers won't need any illustrations to imagine the scenes. Worry not, I shall thoroughly explain the difficult sections. You'll like the— After all this time, I wonder if Aliyah and Aziz ended up together. And who obtained the desert gem in the end? Sir, do you have the subsequent volumes of this?
I don't think so.
Is that so? And here I thought I could finally read the ending. Never mind. If I'm to use it as a teaching material, it's better to start earlier in the series. Is this series really that popular?
No. It's not popular at all.
No demand? Impossible. Back then, I'd come across it.
Seriously? No one told me that this book—
Where did you get this from? Can you still contact the seller?
I'm afraid not. This book was sold together with a whole bunch of antique furniture. Otherwise, the Matra would have come knocking. Wait, is this book actually worth a lot?
That's impossible. No matter how strict the Academia—
I do remember a passerby skimming through the book a few days ago.
He sighed? Why would he react like that? Given the quality of Tales of Shahryar, he should— I'm sorry. Traveler, Kale, please. Why is there another misunderstanding between Aliyah and Aziz? Also, and a new character is introduced with no foreshadowing at all? Also, what are all these— Is this really the Tales of Shahryar I know?
Well, that passerby reacted in much the same way. It's Mada from the cafe over there. You know, since that's also a very old story, maybe he knows a thing.
Then let's go ask around at the cafe.
Huh? Oh, yes.
Another day, another—
Excuse me?
Yes! Art—
What? Sorry.
It's fine. I'm used to it, more or less.
Do you know about Tales of Shahryar?
Huh? Tales of Shahryar? My master always talked about how incredibly popular that book used to be. However,
Your master?
Yes, the one who taught me how to be a storyteller. He said that He also said that this great-great-grandmaster was an academia researcher. He wrote 4 volumes back then, and the reviews just got better and better. You couldn't—
And then? What happened next? Why did—
Oh, it's hard to tell when it comes to trends. Instead of writing a proper ending, to tap into popular trends, he added a lot of
How could that be? Then what happened to
In the end, there's no ending. The great-great-grandmaster tried to write a few more. He got so infuriated that he stopped writing altogether and focused on his research.
What? So there's no ending? The readers didn't care?
By that time, Anyway, my master probably exaggerated. The only tangible thing my great-great-grandmaster left is He also left behind many theses from his research phase. My master is a much better storyteller than me. But even he won't recite Tales of Shahryar due to its—
So, Antara's story is the one that lacked—
Well, not even sages can definitively ascertain the quality of something like a story. In the end—
Only time?
Madame Farazan?
It's been 100 years. Perhaps some things I want—
Master helped me find a lot of famous books that, no matter how good those stories are, I can't improve my skills if I can't bring myself to...
That is true. Readers' interest in trends of a time are not things that what was popular 100 years ago could be completely forgotten in modern times. And yet, if Tales of Shahryar hadn't chased after trends and instead stuck to it might have stood some chance of gaining renewed popularity. No, even if that...
Hard conversation.
I don't really get what you're talking about, but it does sound
How unseemly. I almost got carried away because of a single book. Well then, we should... No, it's much too old. Kale, you found a book that you liked at the...
Yes.
Then we'll use that book as our teaching material. Now that I think about it, using as for the academia, as long as we come up with an appropriate course name, we should... It sounds like you've dealt with the Now then, let's return to the book vendor in a bit and... But if I wish to use it as teaching material... Speaking of which, other than third eye of perception and illusory mirror, such things as... Even if it reminds me of my dark history, I still can't help but be drawn in by the story. And the author has written... Why do people use dark history to refer to awkward or embarrassing memories? If one of our learning objectives was researching linguistic changes over the past
Oh, I can tell you what that's all about. Apparently in their youth, but as they grew older, they started to become embarrassed by such memories.
Mata? You know, I'm...
Why so suddenly?
I knew it. There will always be people who love the golden old...
What now? Master said there's no rush, but I feel for Madam. But if I get her in trouble... But if someone does complain to the academia, and if the academia investigated, do you have some way to invite her over to Parties DI without stepping on the academia? Okay then.
I have to teach students from Haravatat.
Madam Faruzan, we're back.
Well...
Please, Madam Faruzan, focus. Today's the...
Yes. Why, that lad didn't make it very clear in his letter, now did he? Otherwise,
yeah, that's right.
Wait. Opportunities for... Also, there isn't much overlap between Madam Faruzan's research.
A fully automated irrigation system.
A fully automated
Precisely. It's a system that can automatically adjust. I saw a similar mechanism while exploring a ruin in the rainforest.
A mechanism like that exists?
I found it 100 years ago, so it's only now.
But we can't prove...
Fret not. I'll have Tainari write an official
proposal. Fine, I'll go inform my superiors now. Please do...
Sure. I'll be sure to needle him. Phew. I think even though this is our first meeting,
Wow! You made up that excuse on the spot, huh?
Who knows? It's been a... I'll let Tainari... If I'm right, the request he has in store...
Master, we're back!
You don't have to shout. Well, you got here much faster than I expected. I thought you'd have a lot more...
Thanks to the Traveler, I was able to...
On to others?
We can discuss that later. You're looking for me
That's right. Don't be scared, Kale. This is the mechanical life form, the It's the final work of a late June...
You mean Abatui? He must have been a genius to create one of such polish all by himself. It's uncommon that a SpongeMod researcher is able to create such an intricate machine. If he were still around, we could probably chat the day away. Something seems wrong here.
Karkata has been lying down like this since a few days ago. I've taken a few courses conducted by SpongeMod before, so I've managed to perform some passable repairs on Karkata's. My knowledge can only prevent its condition from deteriorating any further. But, Madame Faruzan...
Not necessarily. Mechanical life forms are created using techniques from... There are multiple modules here that influence each other. Each mechanical life form is very different from the next. So even I cannot be sure of my understanding of mechanical life. Can you all go outside for a minute? I need a bit of space.
All right. We'll wait here till Faruzan finishes her inspection. In her past, huh? Quite a few. I've told you before that she disappeared for 100 years, right? From her exact words.
That ruin was crawling with traps and coded inscriptions from wall to wall. I did all I could to decipher the code and deactivate the traps to escape the ruin, but there was no way out. I lost track of time and I ran out of pen and paper. In the end, I had to use stone shards to write on the walls and on the floor. Then, before I realized it, I ran out of space on the walls and floor. I had to calculate all the possibilities in my mind. After that, my memory started to become fuzzy, and my cognition slowed down.
She doesn't remember anything else, including the location of when she was found in the outskirts of Sumeru a few years ago. She looked exactly the same as she did 100 years prior. However, she was in a... The academia speculates that she must have gotten trapped in an unknown... And because of the ruin's special properties that halted her aging, she was able to use... Though she had finally broken free, 100 years had passed. In the end, even the academia had to rely on century-old records in the Akasha to confirm her... Don't make that face. I'm not telling you this because I want to drum up sympathy. She sees that period of entrapment as an experimental error. Even after going through so much, she's returned to Sumeru due to changes over the years and drift in academic subjects. She holds some rather strong opinions about What I want to say is that no matter what era we're in, Faruzan she has her own deep understanding of various ruins and machines. If there's a chance, you should talk about...
Master, Madame Faruzan's
Oh? Let's head over. With any luck, she...
I never thought that I'd encounter a restitution module once again after 100. If my guess is correct, this mechanical life form has displayed attempts at self-sustenance before, right?
It used them for something else, but as far as its design goes, it does have...
I knew it. If I'm not wrong, Karkata's issue lies with its... Abatui's modified this module extensively, but the core parts and design philosophy are very similar to the creators of the Ruins machine once tried to create a perpetual mechanism that could replace life or even surpass the restitution module as the result of one of their countless attempts. It replicates the behavior of living things to achieve a self-repair function. However, the energy required in maintenance of the... For example, a living thing's heart can deliver nutrients and blood to various organs. However, once the heart is damaged, it'll be hard for that living thing to heal itself, and even the function of other organs can be affected. Thus, even 100 years ago, I'd only seen it once before. Based on my current research, I'll need to swap out the damaged parts in the restitution module to But like I just said, the module is rare. Even by the standards of ancient, finding suitable parts would be like trying to find a single gear in the vast desert, to say nothing of the One can only wonder where Abatui found the
I might have an idea. Abatui was, for a time, quite passionate about excavating the...
You mean to say he found a restitution module in the desert?
But the desert's huge! How are we supposed...
According to the Academia's records, no similar parts have been found in the Great Red Sea.
I do know that a Vahumana researcher formed an expedition team after the sandstorm.
Should we ask them if they've made it?
The chances are slim, but it's at least more effective than running around like headless chickens.
His name is Raid. I think he's stationed at the northeast part of the Hypostyle Desert. Let's go...
Oh, you and Kale should probably stay. Karkata's Besides, you still need to take care of the trouble.
Trouble from the Academia?
I'll let Kale fill you in on the details. What is this?
Halt! Mr. Raid's permission is required to proceed any further. That still won't do. Mr. Raid told us to keep people away.
Damage the site? I've excavated more ruins than you visited restaurants. Which batch of students is Raid from?
He isn't at the campsite now. You should all leave. Only he can give you permission to...
What a stubborn guy. You're right. Even if there is new information, we still have to wait for him to come back so we can ask him about it. I'm going to give that Raid a good talking to when he gets back. Well, I found out everything I could.
Is there anything that stands out to you? Ruin Wanderer. That's the first time I've heard that name. It's a bit far away, and I can't...
Huh? What are you guys doing back here? I wouldn't blame you for not knowing about it, youngster. It's said that this monster, the Ruin Wanderer, traversed through various ruins for centuries. Some said that it was like a giant, while others said that it was like a beast. Then, about 10 years ago, we stopped hearing any news about it, and so you youngsters probably don't know about the Ruin Wanderer nowadays.
Centuries? Impossible. I heard nothing about it back then. It could only...
Wait, back then?
Indulge my curiosity for a moment. Why do you think that wreckage is the Ruin Wanderer?
Well, I had all...
You heard that nonsense from the Eremites after they... Madam Faruzan, it is a pleasure. I'm Raid, the one who... I'd heard of you at the Academia, but I didn't expect to run in. And this must be the famous...
Have you found any special contraptions and relics in the ruins that you've...
I'm ashamed to say that we haven't found anything noteworthy.
Really? That Ruin Wanderer...
I'm afraid those are mere rumors. Really, The wise do not buy into rumors, so it is said. I believe that you too, Madam Farah.
It is also said that real knowledge shall come from practice. I can help you research the excavated relics and see if you can take credit for any new discoveries. I believe...
In truth, I could ask. However, you two must be tired after a long... It's getting late, and my subordinates and I are heading back to the camp. There's a tent that the villagers occasionally use to rest. It's a bit simple.
Since you need to rest as well, let's do just that. This is quite far away. Are they trying to prevent the villager? Now, I have my suspicions about this archaeological expedition team and that machine wreck, but based on the condition of the armor and joints, it didn't seem like something that had been lying around for centuries. At most, I'd estimate that it only... Yes, the timing coincides with the spreading of the legend. How do you suppose it was able to maintain a relatively good condition despite high... That's right. Technically speaking, the module shouldn't be able to move such a large machine chassis. However, I'm basing my knowledge on the mechanic... Well, this was over 100 years ago. It was a machine about the same size as Karkata, actually. It also helped me deliver letters home. I found it near the desert, which is why I wondered if there might be more restitution modules buried. Honestly, people in ancient times might have already solved the problem of providing enough power for all I know. Had I confronted Raid right there and then, he would have said that he couldn't tell that the machine was special. If the wreckage were to be handed to the Academia, it'd be much tougher for us to do Anyway, we should figure out what they're planning before. They insisted that we should stay the night, which means if they're trying to pull a fast one on us, they're... Are those sounds coming from the excavation site? I knew they wouldn't be able to wait. Not a single person guarding the campsite. I'll see if they left any clues behind at their camp. Keep watch and help me stall them if it... All right.
Why isn't the tent here yet?
It's still on the way. I'm afraid this is the first time we're delivering...
You good-for-nothings are just a load of trouble, aren't you? Hurry up and hide our current tent and deliver the new one to me tonight, no matter what.
Huh? Who's there?
I'm sorry. I'm just a bit upset because my subordinates aren't doing their jobs properly. It's nothing. Just a tent. We didn't pack up all our tents from the last camp. Someone damaged our current tent, so I'm trying to get my subordinates to get one from that previous. The relics in the ruins are highly valuable, so I'm worried that treasure hoarders and bandits might try to steal them. Since, well, these things are antiques after all. Speaking of which, I'd like to ask, is the Academia... Also, where's Faruzan?
I'm right here. Also, you forgot to address me as Madam.
Sorry, Madam Far...
You were all making so much noise that I couldn't sleep, which is why I got the Traveler to find out what was going on.
I'm very sorry for disturbing your rest.
Good. Come on, Traveler. Let's head... Yes, we came to check out the situation. We should get better rest so that we'll have energy to investigate. Thanks for dealing with them. Now, I found something good on my end.
According to them, the ruins have been raided before. I also observed the wreckage up close earlier. The weathering is nowhere near as... There's no doubt that the wreckage and the ruins don't belong to the same era. They could have fallen into a trap or encountered a glitch within the ruins, remaining state... However, I still don't know why they'd want to hide it. The last few pages of the excavation records are written in code, which I still need time to decipher. It's just wordplay.
Help! Please help! Why are you running away?
What's that sound? The Ruin Wanderer? That's impossible! Is this the work of some kind of hidden mechanism? Never mind, we have to What? It ignored the Traveler?
Why is it chasing after us?
What could have caused it to reactivate?
Darn it! Hey, come on, you lot! It's clear that we can't escape!
It stopped?
Hey, you guys, get up there.
But what if it suddenly moved?
You good fun. Looks like this thing's parts can't handle... When it first reactivated, I was wondering if it'd be as amazing as the legends had pegged it.
Disappointing, you say? Now, is that because you...
Faruzan, you may be my senior as an act...
You wrote these excavation records, did you not? Or perhaps...
I don't reckon...
January 3rd. Excavate January 5th. 3 tents sold. January 10th. 1 special tent pre-sold. It must quickly be switched out with an old tent. You're supposed to be an archaeological expedition team, and when you believed that you had found the wreckage of the Ruin Wanderer, you tried to switch in wreckage that you had After all, there would probably be many wealthy buyers interested in purchasing the legendary Ruin Wanderer, and that forced you to speed up your plan, and you tried to complete the switch overnight before I could investigate the wreckage. In your haste, however...
I don't know what you're talking about.
You lack the curiosity befitting a man of knowledge, nor do you have respect for mechanical life forms.
Ridiculous. Curiosity,
Mr. Aid!
Behind you? Why is it moving again? Run!
Some said that it was like a giant, while others said that it was like a beast. However...
Technically speaking, the module shouldn't be able to move such a large machine chassis. However, I'm basing my knowledge on the mechanical life... Centuries? Impossible. I heard nothing about it back then. It could only have been around for a few decades at most.
Why is it chasing after us?
So you've been looking for me this whole time? Long time no see, Tamimi.
Dear Faruzan, I hope you're doing well. It has been over 20 years since you went missing. People from the academia keep telling it, but somehow, I feel like you're still alive. You've always been persistent, able to shine no matter what situation you face. I believe that, unfortunately, I likely won't be able to welcome you home when you do. Only Tamimi is still the same as before. Always running. Your teacher and friends came up with an idea to remodel Tamimi. You didn't like coming home back then and would always get Tamimi to send a letter back. Now we're leaving a letter. I don't know the answer to that question, but if you ever read this, I regret not being able to say this to you myself. But I'll still feel sincerely happy for you, my dear daughter.
Welcome home, Faruzan. Look at you, Tamimi. You've changed so much after all these years. Thank you for waiting for me all this time. I've safely received the letters. Your work is done now. You can sleep. To Mimi, the mechanical life form I encountered back then, when I met with that accident, it was on the way to deliver a letter form. I didn't expect my teacher and others to remodel its self-repair function, upgrading it to self-learning. And so, in order to plumb the depths of unknown ruins and overcome dangerous traps, it repaired it to Mimi, which used to be incapable of even moving heavy objects, became the all so it could deliver these last letters from them to me. The strain to support such a huge body must have turned out to be too much for your heart, right? Even after the remodeling, its restitution module still can't function perfectly in perpetuity. Just like a living being, mechanical life forms have a limited lifespan. It probably became trapped. It most likely only reactivated because it detected my presence. And then it... Tainari told you what happened to me, right? You don't have to apologize. It's not like this incident is... Besides, I've always treated it as a failed experiment. As a researcher, however, finding out that so many people were affected by my failure... Can you head back to Pardis first? We've been here for a while. As for me, I want to stay with Tamimi for a... You're back!
How was your journey through the desert?
Oh no. She finally got to...
As a researcher, she could perhaps accept it. However, as a friend, we should give her some time. And in the future, I hope that we can be here to support...
I'm back!
We've all been waiting for you.
That's more like it. Now, here are some components I brought back from the desert. Huh? Why do you all look so...
Madame Farazan, did...
Come now. I thought that you must have encountered some... Well, it looks like you already know everything. But no need to feel. Tamimi had been operating beyond capacity for a century, and I'm unable to repair it with my current abilities. As a senior, it is only right that I do... Besides, I didn't say that I would be giving you these parts for free. They will only be used for Karkat. I'll be sure to revive Tamimi once I've fully deciphered and
All right. I'll do my best.
Me too. Although, I'm not... Thank you. If they could remodel Tamimi successfully even... And when that day comes, welcome home, Tamimi.
You're back!
How was your journey through... So Madame Faruzan has some other things to settle.
Madame Farazan will be able to repair Karkat... I'm back! Madame Farazan!
That's more like it. Now, here are some...
So this is a relic of an ancient civilization?
Unscrupulous, huh? Sounds like you already... Is that so? It's nothing. I've already given all the evidence we have against Raid to the Academia. I'll start repairing Karkata then. Call it... Of course! You're he... Thank you for keeping Tamimi a secret. If I tell them about Tamimi, will they still feel happy for Karkata? I don't want my past to affect people in the present. That applies to both me and other people. It's fine. I'm used to this. I once believed that I'd never hear from my old friends and family ever. However, I could remember them clearly again after reading the letter to Mimi. I'd be disappointing them if I let myself fall into a slump because of this. Neither my teacher nor my mother would have wanted to see me like that. Besides, you're lending a listening ear to me now. Oh, Pardius DI look. Once Karkata's condition stabilizes, I'll find a chance to tell Tainari and Kale about it. But for now, just help me keep this secret. Thank you. I suppose I should consider myself quite fortunate. The only time when I felt otherwise was when I had just returned to Sumeru. No one came to check up. Yeah, I'm home.
What now? Master said there's... I feel for... But if I get her in Yeah, that would be But I'm sure he'll say, huh? Oh, so if I also stay and help, okay then. I'm count... Huh. We're back, Madame Faruzan. The Traveler said that he could...
Oh! Why, I couldn't ask for more. Is that so? Now, should I don't know if Tainari's told you about this before, but while I don't belong to Ksharawar, which specializes in researching mechanisms, nor am I in Spontamod, which specializes in researching energy flow. Instead, I'm part of Haravat.
She has been invited to Ksharawar multiple times to
Just listen to how they introduce themselves. In the future, Ksharawar will be the only Darshan with... Besides, the current Ksharawar is more concerned about how mechanisms can be used in if they're trying to use the collaborative project as an excuse to have...
No, that's not it. The representative of Ksharawar recommended you to them, Madame Faruzan.
Oh, putting aside my ideological differences with Ksharawar, I suppose I must acknowledge this...
Yeah, Akara...
In summary, Akara Crafts wants to design a series of early learning toys that will cultivate curiosity. The academia agreed to work with them because they hope that these...
True. The current academia is in need of some new blood. If the children start learning now, perhaps I can find some talented students in a few years.
Madame Faruzan, you still haven't found...
Anise, Kasharawar's representative, should be staying in the inn at Port Ormos.
Port Ormos? Now there's a place I haven't been to in a long time.
I probably can't join you since Port Ormos is a little...
No worries. Go do your homework, Kale. Once I'm done with everything here, I'll thank you. Why, I'd even call this a...
Madame Faruzan!
Oh. All right, calm down. Let me be clear. I'm still not all that interested in Kashara. After all, you're here as representatives of the academia in this collaboration. The reputation...
Either way, it's good that... Now, we've given Akara Crafts many ideas over the past couple of days. However, their owner thinks that...
That's expected. Students who have never had to deal with budgetary constraints probably don't understand how important it is to keep costs low. How envious.
If you join the Ksharawar, your budget will be as big as you want it to be.
That's enough. I will not repeat myself. Take me to a...
All right. He's usually at the slope up ahead recruiting volunteers to Mamdu, the one I recommended is here.
Oh, so you're...
Yes, that's me.
Ah, wonderful. We've made many suggestions, but Miss Anise thought that those ideas were too simple.
These early learning toys are meant to help the academia train future researchers after all.
But if they're too complicated, not only will they be expensive...
So the design can't be too complicated.
I remember that in your notes. Many contraptions have managed to fulfill complex functions.
The contraptions in my notes? I didn't create those. I simply took the contraptions in the ruins apart and analyzed. But now that you mention it, the ruins did have things like that. Do you have a pen, paper, and scissors? I'll make a paper prototype.
You have an idea already? Oh, you're done already?
Let me explain. These 3 thick lines, these paper strips of varying lengths represent rings of different sizes.
Well, that is easier to make than I expected.
That's very simple as well. You just need to shift the tower from this pole to another pole.
Isn't this a little too simple?
Of course. When moving each ring, the paper strips in this case, you must follow one rule.
You can only move one ring at a time, and you can't place a bigger ring on top. It's like building a tower. The rings in the 3 poles must be stacked from big to small. I named them...
pagoda stack.
That sounds way too simple. Even...
Give it a try and you'll find out if it's simple or not. I heard from Anis that you
It's such a simple toy.
Mamdu, let's just do as she said.
And that's how you play this game. You can all give it a try. Let's see who's able...
You called everyone here for such...
It doesn't look like it'll take...
Come on, we all promised to help Mr. Mamdu test out the new toys. He said he'd give us new Genius Invocation TCG cards.
Ugh, fine. Let's get this over and done with, so...
Done! It took me 19...
Huh? It took me over 20.
I only needed...
Not bad. Looks like you're up. Then let's increase the difficulty. The next tower... Wait, there's more?
Well, since we're already here...
An extra layer shouldn't make it...
What's going on? I've already moved over 30...
I'm almost done.
Done! It took me 30...
What? How?
This pagoda stack toy is pretty fun to...
Good. We'll try it one final time. This time... Mamdu, we've still got quite a few paper strips here.
Do you need that many steps for something this simple?
Madam Faruzan, allow me to try it as well.
You were looking at it quite seriously just now. Are you...
I... think so.
If you want to test out your hypothesis, you'll just have to
Got it.
Ah, we don't have enough paper strips left for you, Traveler. However, by the looks of things, why don't you guess what the lowest number of steps needed to solve a 7-layer pagoda stack is? What a shame. You were close. However, let's see how well they do then.
If I move this small ring, then the big one won't be able to go...
I've lost count of how many steps I've...
This got a lot harder.
I solved it.
That many? But there...
For every extra layer in the pagoda stack, the move order you need to consider becomes much more complex. And the number...
More accurately, it will require double the steps, plus 1 each time. You did well. You didn't underestimate the principles behind it just because it's an early learning toy. The complexity of any given contraption isn't determined by the number of parts it has. The way the part...
Oh, I see. No wonder you emphasized in your notes that no contraption should ever be
I see. So even a simple toy can become
That's right. The rules used for pagoda stack are... I could spend some time picking out all those machines that do something. Once that happens, you can give the volunteers the reference book and paper prototype. Do you have an...
Yeah! When can we play...
In about 2 days or so, I think. Anis, if you're...
Of course!
2 days should be enough for us to find more volunteers. Then we can organize a... You'd be most welcome. We need more people...
Thank you for coming here with me today. I'll be going then. Say hi to Tainari and Kale for me if you can. Once everything here is settled, I'll make my way over to Pardistii as quick. You want to ask why I'm unwilling to join them, putting aside the fact that they're too full of themselves. I actually have no issue. After all, knowledge is either right or wrong. Superiority in no matter what corner of the unknown they shed light on. It's a step because I believe whole, even if the others call my research useless, as long as the knowledge in the end, useful and useless. When I first started deciphering ancient documents, I didn't think about how it'd be. That's why there's no need for me to join them to do useful research. I'd rather stay in Haravatat. Still, the funding that perhaps if this collaborative project goes smoothly, I can even ignore Haravatat and ask for a higher budget directly from the academia. Oh, I could come up with lots of ideas. With Anis's help, 2 days will be enough. You're right. If no one understands the reference book, it's better to make it simpler and fun so that children will be interested. Thank you. I'll take your opinion into...
Oh, you're here.
We've called up everyone we
My masterpiece is going to be exhibited after... And if we activate this little mechanism just like that, a Sumeru rose will appear at the top of the cane.
Oh, I see.
I thought it came out of thin air. It's amazing.
If the mechanism was bigger, you could make a rabbit appear, right?
Then you can't use a cane. Could you switch it out with a hat or something?
You're applying what you learned creatively. Let's look at the next page. If you fold an origami bird like this, it'll fly further and more stably.
Whoa. You can make a mech.
The principles at play are even more.
These are pretty cool.
I'm not that interested in toys, but if they'll...
Everyone, we have paper prototypes and craft materials that you can use to make your own
This is such a well-prepared event.
But we want to...
It's fine. We have a lot of paper...
Oh, my origami...
Professor Faruzan?
Just madam will do. Maybe in the future, you may indeed get the chance to call me Professor. You may wish to pay attention to these few details. Here, for example. All right.
Wow! Madam Faruzan, will we learn origami at the...
Of course you will. If you become a researcher in the future, if you want, you can even be...
But Mom and Dad said that there are 6 stars. Which darshan teaches about mechanisms in origami?
Well, in this case...
I know. We need to choose...
Huh?
I want to attend Kasharawar in the future and fold even...
I want to make even more awesome
Actually, the other darshans do have their own specialties, too. For example, Haravatat specializes in... Pay attention, children. Children? How did this happen?
What if we end up in a darshan we don't like?
No, that won't happen. Take me for the only person able to restrict your curiosity as a researcher.
No.
Huh. It's all right. Let me tell you a story about pressure-based I'll be going then. Say hi to Tainari, a niece. We haven't had much time to get to... She's able to calmly figure out the basic principles behind something. I'll do my best to teach her over the next few days. Still, how much she learns, well, her interest lies in the application of mechanisms. I do have some old knowledge to share, but if we think about the future, my research into mechanisms is, in a sense, if she becomes my student to learn how to make modern contraptions, it wouldn't benefit either of us. However, if she develops an interest in deciphering, if I successfully poach a student, those young punks at Haravatat will have... Perhaps if this collaborative project goes smoothly, I can even ignore Haravatat. Oh, I could come up with lots. You're right. Explanations. By using detailed and accurate illustrations, we can impart... Thank you.
Oh, you're here.
We've called up...
To sum up, the 24 forms of pressure. All right, let's go to the next page. Now, I'll explain the base layer design of elemental monument.
Are we done?
I don't understand any of...
Are these really toys?
They sound a bit too dangerous to buy for...
Oh.
Well, we've prepared paper prototypes for everyone. If you...
Oh, this is no fun. Can I try another toy?
I want to go home and play genius and...
Forget it. I don't think anyone...
I should go home and take care of my children.
How did this happen? Forget about...
I'm sorry. I think we miscalculated.
No, you simply gave suggestions. I will find a way to make up for this error. Please.
Excuse me, but are you the one who wrote this reference book?
Yes. Who are you?
Ah, you're that man.
Do I stand out that much? Well, I guess I don't look like someone who'd have anything to do with toys. Let me introduce myself. I'm...
What's the branch master doing?
I came to Port Ormos to visit some old friends. On the way over, I saw the booklet you were handing out, so I came to take a look. Can you print a few more copies of this booklet and sell them to the Adventurers Guild?
What does the Adventurers Guild want with these?
You may see them as toys, but to adventurers who need to deal with all sorts, we have many members who can't read, even if the academia granted public
and our booklet is practical.
Well,
it might be a bit too difficult for children, but it's perfect for adventurers. If you can make wooden versions for demonstration, if we can supply a model set for each branch, and if each adventurer carries a booklet with them, then ruin exploration will become much safer.
You really think so?
Making models of contraptions for the Adventurers Guild?
We'll probably have to send in a separate application, but it shouldn't after all. This concerns safety during the exploration of—
Then let's cut to the chase and discuss the details of our first order. This much.
We don't have— Why don't you guess what the lowest number of steps needed to solve a 7-layer pagoda stack is? Oh, color me impressed. Let's see how well they do that.
Всем большое спасибо за просмотр, ставьте лайки этому видео, если оно вам понравилось, подписывайтесь на канал. Всем хорошего времени суток и пока-пока!